So I got the Showtime add-on for Hulu just to watch this, and I planned on watching it within 7 days so I could cancel it for free and watch the last season of Shameless because I don't have it on Netflix yet. But I forgot to cancel my subscription, and as far as I'm aware, Showtime shows are absolutely shit compared to anything else. Like, all they have is Shameless, and now I'm done with Shameless. Granted, I mean, it's only like a $3 a month add-on, but please, if anybody knows anything else decent to watch on the Showtime add-on, let me know, because I'm out of ideas, and I don't want to spend $3 for one season. One season that, let's be honest, wasn't all that great. So for those of you that are unaware of what Shameless is, why are you watching this video? This is a video by the finale. I'm going to spoil everything here. But just in case you want a synopsis, or just in case you're watching this for some fucking reason, I will give you a quick synopsis. So Shameless is an 11-season show on Showtime that follows a family from the south side of Chicago. You got Frank, who is the deadbeat alcoholic, druggy, basically homeless father of 6 children. Fiona, Lip, Ian, Carl, Debbie, and Liam, and it also follows their friends Kev and Veronica, and also Mickey in earlier seasons, and then again in later seasons, and a plethora of amazing side characters, which unfortunately I'm not going to have the time to go into. This isn't a video about all of Shameless, it is purely a video about the ending and the finale, and the endings that these characters were given, and how they were completely fucked by the writers of this. Now, a lot of people didn't like the last 2 seasons, purely for the fact that Fiona left. But personally, I think the last 2 seasons were pretty good. I enjoyed them. I think that they carried it rather well with the absence of Fiona. Granted, Fiona was never one of my all-time favorite characters, but I think that it was a very good TV show despite the lack of her. I think that a lot of that had to do with Mickey. I really, really enjoy the character of Mickey. And out of everybody, he's one of the few that I think got a satisfactory ending.
God damn it, why does everything always have to suck? This is my fucking wedding day. For one day, can I just have the gold categories?
But I actually really enjoyed the last 2 seasons, especially the very last season, which was set during the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic that everybody else is going through in the whole world. And I think it's really cool and very interesting to see movies and TV shows set during the pandemic that we're all living through. Another one that does it that I've seen is 911. And I think it's really cool. Now, I'm not saying this show is ruined. Not all shows that have bad finales are ruined. Some of them are, some of them aren't. For example, let's look at How I Met Your Mother. How I Met Your Mother had an absolutely terrible, fucking abysmal finale that basically made the entirety of the show useless. I mean, Ted ended up with Robin in the end anyway. And in the very first episode, Robin was introduced, and they're like, this is your Aunt Robin. Then the whole last season was based around how Ted and Robin aren't good for each other, and Robin and Barney are perfect, and it was all going over the weekend of their wedding, and that was the entirety of the last season. But no, the mom dies. The show is about the mother, but it turns out it's actually about Robin.
Let's look at the facts here. You made us sit down and listen to the story about how you met Mom, yet Mom is hardly in the story. No. This is a story about how you're totally in love with Aunt Robin.
Fuck you. I'm sorry. My point is that I still enjoy watching How I Met Your Mother. Yes, the finale does make me angry, but I dedicated 9 years of my life to How I Met Your Mother. But I can watch the entirety of the show and still have a great time while watching it because it's a very enjoyable show. Now, something I can't watch is Game of Thrones. The Game of Thrones finale, and really the entirety of the last season of Game of Thrones, ruins the entire rest of the show. Because the show is about the ending. It's about these tie-ups. It's about what all of this means and wrapping it all up. Jon being a Targaryen didn't mean anything. Him being the rightful heir to the throne didn't mean anything. The romance between Dany didn't mean anything. Arya being a faceless man didn't mean anything. Nothing in that show ended up meaning anything. And the only thing that show was about was the ending. It was about what it all wrapped up to. It was about the game and how the game ended and who got the throne. But instead, the throne's a fucking metaphor that the dragon melts or whatever because the dragon's really good at metaphors. Shameless, on the other hand, having a bad finale and having a bad ending for the majority of its characters doesn't ruin the whole show. I think it lies somewhere in the middle there, somewhere in between How I Met Your Mother of being able to ignore the last episode and enjoy everything for what it is. And then Game of Thrones, where the ending is so bad and means nothing that it makes the entirety of the show mean nothing. In the middle there. Now, on to the endings of the characters, because really this show is about its characters. When I talk about the ending and I talk about the finale, I'm only really talking about the characters because that's who this show is for, it's who it's about, it's all that matters. I'm gonna start with the best ending, Ian and Mickey.
I now pronounce you husband and husband.
Ian and Mickey are my favorite couple out of this entire show. It spans all the way back to the very beginning, and they've had a very, very rocky road to get there, with Mickey's anger in his family and Ian's bipolar and their prison stints and being back and forth, and Mickey being afraid to come out, and them just having a difficult go of things on the South Side and being gay on the South Side. But in the end, they have an amazing, happy relationship, granted a little bit, I'd say a little bit toxic in some parts.
Oh, it's a good idea. Why don't you kick back, relax, maybe watch some soaps while you think about what to cook me for dinner.
You little bitch. You're the bitch.
Oh, you gonna stop this?
I want to see who wins.
But I don't think they'll be able to be in any kind of relationship because of who they are. That's not a little bit toxic. Their toxicity balanced the other ones out, I would say. But in the end, they end up moving out of the South Side, which is a little bit sad because the South Side is from where they're from. And Mickey says he was always dreamed of ruling the South Side with an iron fist, or fucking however he said it. But it's good for them to get out of the South Side, to escape that area. So they move on to the West Side. They get a really nice place together. They both have really good jobs. They're out of prison. They seem to be on the straight and narrow. And it looks like kids are in the cards for them after their marriage has been successful for a year. Mickey is struggling with thinking he's not going to be a good dad, but personally I think he'd be a good dad. Granted, not the best role model, but the important thing is that your kids see you be a good role model. I mean, you could be a bad role model without them looking at you. So Ian and Mickey, really the only actual ending that I'm happy with all the way around. Now I'm going to go to the worst one, straight from the best to the worst, and that's Debbie.
Friends don't rape friends.
I didn't mean to rape you.
Straight off the bat, I want to say, fuck Debbie. Debbie's the goddamn worst. She's been bad since the beginning when she supported Frank, and she's been awful every single step of the way.
For starters, a teen mom raped a guy once, stole a baby, almost drowned a girl. I beat the shit out of so many people. Once I drugged my half-sister and locked her in a shipping crate.
And everything she's done after that, controlling the family, wanting to be the next Fiona, and then holding all that money hostage from everybody. Granted, Fiona gave it to her, but you know what she went out and did with that money? She pulled fucking scams so she could have pretty clothes and nice heels and everything, and then she lost it all. And, you know how it ended? Some crazy-ass lady got out of prison, robbed a bunch of people, and now it looks like Debbie's gonna run off to New Mexico or whatever and live with this crazy ass lady she just met with her daughter Franny, instead of maybe trying to have a healthy relationship and be a good mother to her child. Then the last episode, I miss Sandy. Why'd you have to be such a bitch to Sandy? Why does she have to be awful to everybody? And the show's trying to make a point, like, oh, you gotta find somebody that's crazy enough to balance out your crazy. No, fuck that. She needs to be in something healthy, not some convict that's still doing crimes and is gonna get her in prison and Franny put in social services. Like, that's the worst ending. Like, in the whole last season, she was trying to keep Lip from selling the house and bettering everybody's life. Just, Jesus Christ. I mean, everything about her ending made me angry, but I suppose that's fitting because everything about the last 11 years of hers made me angry, so I guess it works.
You fucking well did! With your eyes, and your smile, and your cock!
Next we have Lip, who is my all-time favorite character. I have liked Lip the most from the very beginning. He's had a rocky road with his alcoholism and his not giving a shit about anything pretty much. But he has a family now. He has a lovely girlfriend. He has a kid. He's been working on the house. He's been doing good. He's a mechanic. He's sober. But Lip's screwing himself over. Like, he could have sold the house for $200,000, but he wanted to get more, so he got fucked out of that one. He got a call about a $15 an hour mechanic job, but he never followed up on it. So does he have that job? Who knows? I don't think so, because Lip doesn't seem to care about that kind of thing. Do they have another kid? Who knows? We don't know about that either. What always bugs me about Lip is that for the first half of the series, the story was about his genius and the fact that he was better than all this and he could do something amazing with his life and he was smarter than... The only thing we've seen in like 5 years about him being a genius is in the very last episode when he's doing like DoorDash or whatever, like Zoomy Zebra, I think it's called, and he fixes somebody's problem on crypto and then he gets tipped $2 by the asshole. Like, does she even know he's a genius? What's he doing with his life? And that's the thing. We don't know. Where is he going to live? Is he going to have a job? Do they have a kid on the way? This is just another one of those things that's up in the air that we don't have answers to. And it drives me fucking crazy. Now, let's move on to Carl's ending, who isn't terrible, but is just really unsatisfying. That's kind of a trend here. They're not all terrible, they're just really unsatisfying. I like endings that close up. It's why Parks and Recreation is my all-time favorite finale, because you know what happens to every one of those people until the day they die. And I understand that all endings can't be like that, but we followed these characters for 11 years. I'd like a little bit of closure, not just the ending we got, which was basically no closure whatsoever. Like with Carl, he's in the police force, he's finally bettering himself, but he keeps just getting demoted through the police force because he's trying to stand up for what's right and do what he believes is right.
I want to be the type of cop who stands up for those who don't have a voice, the lost, the forgotten. They deserve a fair share, even if that means rich pricks like you, Mr. McManus, have to pay the price in order to rebalance the scales of justice.
He maybe has a baby with that girl that he slept with. Who knows? He's maybe buying a bar, maybe buying the alibi with the guy from the West Wing. Who knows? We don't really know anything about Carl. We don't know anything that's going to happen with him. Is he still in the police force? Does he have a kid? Is he buying a bar? Where's he living? Nobody knows. It's all up in the air. I just wanted a little closure. I just want to know what's going on with him. But I guess that's all I got to say about Carl. Just tell me something.
Do kids in juvie still get to go to school?
Yeah, why?
That might be the solution.
Now let's go to Liam. He's the youngest of the clan. He's always kind of been on the back burner. He didn't even talk for many, many seasons, but he's kind of fucked. I mean, let's be honest. Nobody really cares about Liam. He's always the most screwed over. He has the biggest age gap of anybody, and everybody even just forgets that he exists, and he can stay over at a friend's house for weeks on end, and nobody knows. He's also kind of a dick because he screwed over that guy that was like a distant relative that was just trying to help him better his life. He's moving in with Lip. So, I mean, I guess that's good. With him, I can give him a little bit of break. He's a kid that has, like, no personality besides the fact that he's the youngest and forgotten about and kind of a jerk.
She is a crazy bitch. And not a crazy bitch like you're a crazy bitch. Like, oh, bitch, you're so crazy.
Next, we're going to go to Kev and V. The last couple seasons, ever since Fiona's been gone, Kev and V have been kind of out of the picture, which is sad. They've always been as much of the family as everybody else, but they've had their own singular storylines, and they've been moving away from everybody. Now they are actually physically moving away from everybody out of Chicago, and yeah, it's sad, but they have good jobs. They're selling the alibi, maybe to Carl, who fucking knows. At least they're gonna have some family there, because let's be honest, the Gallagher family is not exactly a family that they can lean on anymore, because now that Fiona's gone, it doesn't really seem like they have much of a familial connection. They had their kids. For a while, I was worried that Veronica was gonna leave Kev because he didn't want to leave Chicago, but he was making good money down there. She's got a job in politics somehow. So there we go. That's the only other really good ending, I think.
I'm your father. I may not have always been a great one, but I'm still your father.
Now let's move on to Frank, who fucking died in the last episode. And we got a decent monologue from him in the note around a fire, just like in the very first episode, which I thought was a nice wrap-up.
Nobody's saying our neighborhood's a Garden of Eden. Hell, some people say God avoids this place altogether. But it's been a good home to us, to me and my kids, who I'm proud of, because every single one of them reminds me a little bit of me.
I'm not gonna ask your forgiveness because you bunch didn't do shit for me. So let's just call it a draw. I know some of you think you hate my guts. And truth be told, I never liked any of you much either.
Except he didn't include Fiona, which was weird. Yeah, I know Fiona's out of the show, but she is still his oldest child and has been there from the start and helped him raise the kids, and very important. She's only been gone for 2 years out of the 11 years, so maybe include Fiona in your fucking suicide death note. But he didn't actually commit suicide. He died from COVID, alone, in a hospital, with none of his family giving a shit. And I know Frank is goddamn awful, and an abysmal person and a shitty dad, but he died alone in a hospital from COVID. And what a rough way to wrap up that character.
100 days he was sober, Fiona.
Who?
And then you have Fiona, who's been gone for 2 years, and we didn't really get much of a goodbye from her at the end. Nobody mentioned Fiona. When the people were selling the house, she didn't come by and help. When the family was selling the house, she didn't come by and help, which is kind of ironic considering she made all of her money from flipping businesses and houses and selling them. And when Lip was trying to flip the house to help the family during a pandemic, Fiona was nowhere to be found or seen. But who the fuck cares? She's gone. She left. Now, I realize it wouldn't really be true to Shameless or true to Poverty or true to the South Side of Chicago if all of the endings were happy. I don't need them all to be happy. I just need there to be closure. But I don't know what happens. I didn't get closure. Everything's up in the air. Now, I know it wouldn't be true to Shameless and it wouldn't be true to Poverty if every one of these endings had a happy ending. But I don't require a happy ending. I just require an ending. It seems like there should be another goddamn season after this. There wasn't a wrap up. Does Carl have a kid on the way? Is Carl going to keep his job? Is Carl going to buy the bar? Does Lip have a job? Is Lip going to have a house? Does Lip have another kid on the way? Is Debbie running away to New Mexico with some crazy psycho prison bitch? Like, what's going on with these characters? I don't know. And I just wanted to know. And I just feel a bit betrayed that I'm not going to know. But as I said, that doesn't ruin everything. It ruins the last season a little bit. But I went back for nostalgia purposes and I watched the entirety of the first season after I watched this, and it was still fucking great. But you know what? I can't go back and watch the first season of Game of Thrones. It's not that great anymore. All I can think about is the ending. So I wish the ending was better, but it's still a great show. That's really all I have to say, though. If anybody has any thoughts, I'd love to hear them. But thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my other videos.